Hello everyone, this is N-GameArts. This is part 3 to my 160 plus Nintendo Switch games. So this is just a continuation of my collection. I've recently just covered my PlayStation 4 collection, which I have 700 plus games of that. I've been grouping all my collections into one big playlist for 2024. That way you guys can watch them all back to back if you would like to prefer it that way. Then have to jump between playlist. You can just jump between one playlist and watch the entire collection, since I'll probably be trying to recover all my entire collection of PlayStation 1, PS5, since I covered PS4, I got PlayStation 2, and Switch. So, enough to stop rambling. We got quite a few games here to go through. We're going through 40 plus, like the last two videos. Starting off, we have Animal Crossing, The New Horizons. Now, granted, this was my first Animal Crossing game I've ever played, so I didn't really know what to expect out of it. And overall, I have to say, I wasn't that impressed with it. I do like some of the charminess of it. I didn't like the fact I couldn't rotate the camera. That annoyed me. But there were some elements that I did like, some elements I didn't. This still sadly should be more called Animal Crossing Online, because there's a lot of functions and functionality that are heavily tied to online. So like, if you wanted to have special events and stuff like that happening, they wouldn't happen unless you were connected to the internet. I tried testing it, and maybe this has been fixed with an update, not sure, but that's irrelevant because it's not on cartridge. Now maybe there is a newer higher print run, because this one's always 000. Maybe there's one that's like 05 or something like that that may fix that issue. But right now, from the vanilla version, I don't really recommend it. It's a cozy, relaxed game, so I don't hate it for that. But there were just certain other things that are a little repetitive and everything like that I just didn't really find that enjoyable. But I know this game really exploded during the pandemic, so I guess for a lot of people this was a lot of comfort, relaxation for them. For me, I believe Nintendo could have done a lot better with this. Moving on. Now here's a game I was super hyped up for, which was very frustrating that the game got delayed during the Ukraine war thing, or still Ukraine war at the time making this video. This is Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, which comes with 2 games on one cartridge. It comes with Advance Wars 1 and Advance Wars 2. Now, when these games first came out, they were only available on the Game Boy Advance. Now, there are other Advance Wars, I think for like the Nintendo DS and stuff like that, so hopefully we might get a new physical copy of that. But sadly, I have heard this did not sell too well, so that's insanely disappointing. Now, I relatively enjoyed the game because I just love tactical turn-based war games and stuff like that, so this is right up my alley. Graphically, I do think the game's graphically is worse than compared to the original games. Now, I never played the original games, but I've seen them, and I remember being very jealous when I was younger because I couldn't play handhelds, and I love the sprite graphics. I think the sprite graphics are better looking than what is here, but for what is here, it's not the worst. It is decently charming in its graphics, but I still say the sprite graphics would have looked a lot better. But in the end, I'm really happy that we at least had these remakes of these classical games. I couldn't be more happy about that, and I'm really happy to have it. I do like the first one the most. The second one started implementing features and functions that, not just in terms of like the gameplay, I'm talking about like the campaign where a computer was able to break the rules, and I wasn't a big fan of that, so I never beat the second one. I only beat the first one, but in the end, really glad to have this on my shelf. Moving on, this is Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. Now, this was the first time I ever played Legend of Zelda Sky Sword, and a lot of people say, I've heard that this was not a very popular Legend of Zelda. Now, this was my first time ever playing it, and I relatively enjoyed the game. Now, granted, I didn't play with the motion controls. That would have annoyed me on the Nintendo Wii, because I did play Twilight Princess on the Wii, and that was just a chore and an unenjoyable experience. I basically just ran to the game, but I didn't really enjoy it. But I'm glad I was able to sit down and play with the controller with this. I really did enjoy the game. The only thing I didn't like was the bird aspect. We had to fly in this giant open world in the sky thing. That was insanely boring. But when you were able to go down to the island, land, and like run around, lots of fun. And there were some annoying little bit bosses and some other annoying aspects, but some of it has been fixed up and cleaned up for this version, so at least my first time playing Skyward Sword was, I guess we'd call it the superior version, because I was able to play with an official controller. Again, I did enjoy it. Moving on, this is a Play Asia, only available. I don't know how to pronounce this. There's no English writing for the name of this. I actually don't know the name of it. You're gonna have to tell me, because I mean, I know what the game is, I just don't know what to say. It's all Japanese. But this comes with 1, 2, and 3 as HD remaster. If I recall, these were like Nintendo DS games or something like that. And this is the only way you can get these games that got remastered in HD. I wish I could say the name, but I don't remember the name of this game. I don't want to say some random thing because it's going to be completely off base. But basically, you're like, explore the dungeon, but you like create the dungeon as you're exploring it, which is sound very, very interesting. Now, by my understanding, there are more games of this out there. This is just only comes with 3 of them. And this is only available as a Play Asia import, but it does support English. I don't think there's any English voice acting. But, again, I picked it up because it seemed really interesting, and it's the only way you can get a physical copy at the time of this video, so very, very happy to have it. Sorry I can't think of the name of it. Hopefully you can see the cover art in case you are interested in looking into it. I don't know the name of it for the life of me. I wish I could remember. But again, I picked it up because while it was available, and it's only available in a Play Asia. Next up was Bayonetta 2. This was like one of the original first games I picked up when I first picked up my Switch. Now, I picked up my Switch like 3 years after it came out. I didn't buy the Switch at day one simply because I was hoping they would release a standalone console that didn't have the handheld part, but just is the console, because I don't play my console on handheld mode. I would prefer just a normal console. I hate the fact I had to spend more money for a feature that I have no interest in. To me personally, I believe that if you're playing video games, you just be sitting home playing video games. You're outside your home, you should be focusing on your surroundings and not playing a video game, unless you are doing something that you have absolutely nothing you can do. Like I said, you're at a laundromat or a car shop or something like that. But when you're outside and doing stuff, you should be focusing on that and not video games. But I don't want to get on a whole tangent on that. I just don't play handhelds. I can't even play them because I couldn't even look at the screen. But anyway, I hold off and I picked this up and I've yet to play it. This is like one of the first games I got for my Switch and I haven't played it. I'm just not a big fan of, I don't want to say I'm not a fan of Bayonetta. I played the first one. I don't really see no desire to play more of them. But again, I enjoy name Bayonetta. I like how it's named. I do appreciate Nintendo try and have different genres of games on their library and not just constantly cutesy stuff. I like how erotic and sexy Bayonetta is and just how open it is about the whole subject. And again, I want to be very clear, I don't want this to just be for the women. I wouldn't mind a male version of this. Have some sexy males, they barely have clothes on. That's fine with me. Go ahead. If we can have females like that, you can go ahead and make games like that with males. That doesn't bug me. I mean, I don't like the idea of trying to cover up women's bodies, and I don't like covering up males' bodies. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the human body, so go ahead and show it off. Both are sexy. Enjoy both of them. Eye candy. But anyway, I just have it. Now, the next one I'm really happy to have is Bayonetta, the first one. Now, when this first came out, it was like a Japan import, and it was like a small, limited run, and it did have English support and everything like that, and there was no American version. But I think when Bayonetta 3 was coming out, they released a new print run of the American version, which I'm really glad they did, because now I have all 3 of them on the Switch, and maybe one of these days I could run through Bayonetta. I don't know, I ran through it once long ago on my PlayStation 3, and I've never really cared to play more of it. But again, I'm glad to have all 3 games on my Switch. Next one is Battle Princess Madeline Royal Edition. This is a limited run physical copy. I don't like this back cover art because it doesn't show you anything of the game. But this is a game that seemed very heavily inspired by a game that I grew up really love, and that is Ghosts and Goblins, or Super Ghosts and Goblins. Why that is that Super Ghosts and Goblins, when I was younger, I almost died from a intestinal blockage, and one of the things that hospital had was that they had Super Ghosts and Goblins when I was really young, and that was the only thing I could play. I even beat the game. That's when I discovered that you actually had to use you beat it once, then you had to run through the game again, and you had to use a specific ring. I got close to beating it, but then I got better. I was like in a hospital I had surgery and stuff like that had to be done and everything like that. Apparently I only had like a day left to live or something like that if nothing was done. Regardless, this is a game that made me very passionate about named Super Ghosts and Goblins. So I've been hoping we've getting a collection at some point of all the Ghosts and Goblins games, and there is like a remake or remaster. But anyway, I know I'm off base about what this game is, but this game is like, seems like it's heavily inspired by that design wise, by name Ghosts and Goblins. So I really picked it up because I don't know, maybe sentimental value, since that was one of the things that helped me get through my surgery and in a hospital and stuff like that. I was only like 11 years old when it happened. But anyway, Pikmin 3 Deluxe Edition. I got this like really cheap at Walmart. They were doing some weird clearance thing. I can't remember what price I got it, but it was definitely like $30, maybe $25. I've yet to play it, so I don't know. I've been wanting to pick up the other Pikmins. Nintendo charges so much for their games, and their games are really not worth the price they ask for. The only benefit about Nintendo games is at least they just decently work off the physical copy, so they don't really require day one update to fix any massive issues. But in the end, I haven't played it. I heard it's like a strategy kind of RTS style game. Hopefully one of these days I can sit down and play it. Moving on, we have Live Alive, which I always thought it meant Live Alive, which I still think it should be Live Alive. But it's kind of like an RPG where you got multiple like RPGs and genres all included in one package. You got like a typical RPG, you got like a fighting game, you got like a strategy game and a horror game, and it's really cool. It implements it very well. Now some of them are better than others, like the Asia one, the Twilight of the Indo-Japan. That's a very good one, and I love the Disaster Future, where it feels like very like The Thing, like horror game. It's really cool. And my next one would probably be I'd say the Middle Ages was actually pretty good. I would go into that, but it's a bit of spoilers about why I like that one. But in the end, I picked it up. I'm glad it finally got a US release, because this game is a remaster of an old Super Nintendo game that never got released in the US. So I was really happy to pick this up when it was available. Glad I have it. Moving up, we have Fire Emblem Engage. I ordered the American version. They sent me the PAL version, so oh well, I guess. I have yet to play a single Fire Emblem game. Interestingly enough, I've had some people tell me that Triangle Strategy is just a better version of Fire Emblem, and I've read people say this. So if I didn't even like Triangle Strategy, so if Triangle Strategy is considered a better game in terms of mechanics and stuff like that compared to Fire Emblem must be a garbage game design in terms, because Triangle Strategy was not a good game, but it had good story and characters and stuff like that. And I did like its graphics, but if the gameplay wasn't good, and that's said to be a better gameplay design than Fire Emblem must be atrociously bad. But anyway, I haven't played it. I haven't played it, so that's not a right judgment. I'm just saying what I've heard people say and what I've read. So maybe they're completely off base and it's completely a different game. Or they're talking about a different Fire Emblem and not this one or the other one that got released on Switch. But anyway, I haven't played it, so maybe one of these days. It could be right up my alley. It's a strategy turn-based tactical game, so that should be right at my ballpark. Okay. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, the Expansion Pass. Now this comes with all current release expansion DLCs on cartridge. Now, just a second. I'm going to jump right quick to something. Alright, sorry, I'm right back. I forgot to bring this out. When I bought this, I also picked this up, which I'll talk about in a second. But this is the only available in Japan. It's a physical copy that is the most updated complete version of Breath of the Wild on cartridge. It does support full English and full English voice acting and everything. And as I said, it comes with both expansion DLCs on cartridge. I am not a fan of Breath of the Wild. Again, it's a huge open world, so right on nowhere near up my alley. But there was other problems with Breath of the Wild that I did not like. First off, the game is excessively boring. This is a very boring game. But I do like some mechanics. Like I do like the weapon breaking system. That was a lot of fun. As well as I do like how you can climb anything. That was really cool. And there were just other things that I do agree that was really neat. Like graphically, I think the game is gorgeous. But the world is too big. Traversal is boring. Gameplay is boring. Story is boring, other than the fact that Link died and it take 100 years in the future for him to revive. That's cool. that's interesting. And I do like how at the beginning of the game they pretty much give you everything, and it's fun to have everything unlocked almost immediately as you progress the world. There are cool elements, but the game is ruined by the parasite that is huge open world. And I love the fact that the game is so badly designed. The developers realized that their world is so badly designed. They included the parachute thing, the paraglider. You can tell that was included way later in development because the game was so badly designed. They were like, this game is boring, so let's go ahead and put a paraglider so people can traverse quicker. It cracks me up, and the game gets praised for it, and you clearly see that the game developers realized that they really messed up with this release. But anyway, I didn't really like it. It's okay. It's got some cool elements. What's funny, I didn't talk about this when I did cover this because it was irrelevant to the game. I don't mean to linger too much on this, but the only time I had fun with Breath of the Wild was that when I first time I played Breath of the Wild, I played the vanilla version, didn't really enjoy it. But the only time I did enjoy it was I played the game not the way the developers wanted me to play the game. I actually loved exploring the world, but only because I loved running around the world and putting little icons every time I found something. Like I came across a treasure chest. Sometimes I didn't even open the treasure chest. I just found a treasure chest. I go to my map and put a little treasure chest icon right there. I would run across, meet some enemies, run in the middle of them, open up my map, put a little like skull or a sword to let me know there's enemies there. I would run around a little even more. I come across maybe some other item that I find interesting, like one of those cocoa things you collect, like their little bitty gold poops or whatever it was. I put a little leaf. I did this so much. I was having so much fun doing that. And again, I wasn't even picking up items or doing enemies. I was just putting little icons on the map. I was having so much fun with this that I did not realize that there was a limit of how many you could put. You can only put 100 icons on the map. Right as I reached that, it completely ruined the game for me. I got so upset with the game. I was like, so I'm not allowed to have fun the way I want to have fun. So then I immediately dropped the game. I never picked it back up, and then I picked up the expansion pass here, and then I pretty much bought the strategy guide so I can find all the shrines. That's the only fun part of the game, is doing the shrines, and I wish I didn't have to run around and look for them. I wish there was like a level base so I could just jump to each shrine and just do it like that, and not run around the empty garbage world design. But why I know that it was that so much fun for me is I've been playing another game called Project Zomboid, and I've put 100 hours into that game. And that game allows you to put little icons, but it's unlimited. And I didn't really care about surviving or anything like that. I just love running around the map, going into my map, and like if I found a car crash, I would put a little like 2 cars crashing that are red to let me know that there's 2 destroyed cars here. I would run into a house, explore that house, and when I was done, I put a little X mark on the house. I had this whole map charted. It was some of the most fun I ever had in an open world game. And again, that game didn't take that away from me. Rise of the Second Breath of the Wild, that's why I tell people, Nintendo does not want people to have fun. They just want people to play their boring-ass, lazy-made games. So in the end, I don't really like Breath of the Wild. If you like the game, good for you, I guess. I mean, you like bad games? I don't know what else to say, because I don't know what to tell you. It's a bad game. But moving on from that, because I don't want to talk about that anymore. But I picked up these. These are basically like amiibos, which are like little cards you can scan on them, and they come with all the benefit characters. I picked these all up, and they come with all the RF codes or whatever, so I can get all the bonus outfits and stuff like that. So I got like the complete set. So I have this. I got these. I wanted to show these off because I have every single one of them. They're in here, and so anytime I play this one, I can just get all the special outfits and stuff like that from all the items. But anyway, I'm sure you probably already left and no one will care about my opinion because you're obsessed and you have Stockholm Syndrome with Nintendo. So anyway, let's talk about actually a well-made game. And the reason is probably one of my most favorite Nintendo Switch games. X-Morph Defense Complete Edition. I simply love this game. I have played it multiple times. I loved it so much. I first played it on the Switch, and then I begged and looked and finally found a copy for the PS4, which is a complete edition as well. It was only as a PAL import, but I don't care. I have all of them. I've played this game multiple times. I simply adore this game. This is a newer game, and I already get nostalgia feeling. Every time I pick it up and turn it on, I get in the main menu and I hear that music. Do, do, do. It's like really sad, like you know the atrocities you're about to do because you're the bad guys in this game. I love this game so much. No, the PS4 version is the better version. It runs at 60 frames per second, and it comes with 2-player split screen, while the Switch version doesn't have that. But I still love both. I can't wait to play this game on my Super Nintendo Switch. Unlike the Breath of the Wild, I will legitimately cry if I have to play this garbage game again. But moving on, back to something that's actually good. X-Morph Defense. Simply amazing. I have played it multiple times. I cannot gush about this game enough. I am super, super happy. When I played this game after many, many bad games from Nintendo and just other, after playing Breath of the Wild, I was sitting there like, where has this game been all my life? It's so much fun. I love it so, so much. Man, I love that game. Moving up, I've been wanting to play, and that is Cave Story Plus. It's a game it's a Metroidvania, but the creator of Undertale highly praised this game, so I'm very, very intrigued. I love Undertale, so I'm really intrigued to see what kind of games he may like, and maybe we might have the same taste. So in the end, I'm really, really happy to finally pick it up. It's going to get kind of pricey. I had to buy this one kind of used. It's kind of rough shape, but I'm happy to have it. I've been wanting to play it. Moving on, the import, and that is Chrono Cross, the Radical Dreams Edition. I'm not the biggest fan of Chrono Cross. I just bought this because of collective purposes. Now, this does come with 2 games on 1 cartridge. Again, what's disappointing is that apparently they botched this release. It actually runs worse than the PlayStation 1 version, apparently, on cartridge. Now, apparently they've updated and fixed a lot of that, but that's irrelevant. That's not on cartridge, so it doesn't exist. But, in the end, I'm happy to have it. Luckily, the game, frame rates drop, but this is a turn-based game, so it's not that big of a deal. But still, that's just insane that an older game works better on older hardware than the newer hardware. It's crazy to think. But anyway, I picked it up. PAL import, or Asia import, Play Asia, got it. Moved up, let's talk about a good Legend of Zelda. Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. This was actually fairly fun. I would actually love to see more Legend of Zeldas of the classic ones made in this way. I actually 100% completed this game. I actually really, really enjoy it. This was my first time playing Link's Awakening. I played it on the highest difficulty. Really, really good. I really enjoyed it. Was a little disappointed on the dungeon creator mode. That was definitely a half-assed implementation of like a Zelda creator. But in the end, I'm really, really happy to have this. I've been wanting to run through it again. Again, I'm wanting to run through it again on the Super Nintendo Switch. But in the end, I'm really glad to have it. It's really fun. I wish we can get more like this, like from the Super Nintendo Link to the Past. Would be really, really cool like this. And among other Legend of Zeldas that I have yet to get to play, like Minish Cap and the Summers one, Oracles of Summers or something like that. I would love it because I want to play those games much more than ever playing Breath of the Wild again. The idea of playing Breath of the Wild again will give me nightmares. But again, another better game, Shovel Knight Treasure Trove. This is sadly the only way you can get a physical copy of the most updated complete version of Shovel Knight. They were originally going to release this for PlayStation 4, but they canceled it. Now, this comes with a mass majority of the expansions on the cartridge. Sadly, that doesn't come with everything. I think they just recently released another expansion, so that's a little disappointing. But in the end, I really played it. I beat them all. I did all of them in my Let's Play of it. Boy, oh boy, playing that much Shovel Knight was getting kind of rough. I was getting a little frustrated playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times through Shovel Knight. But in the end, really, really good. Happy to have it. Another really good game is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. I actually really enjoyed this game. It's got some cool atmosphere and design aspects, and I do like some of the effects they had. The only thing I didn't like was that they had like the quarter machine thing. You have to put quarters and you get like a random character. I highly advise if you're going to be doing that, don't buy any of them until you beat the game, because you can't get certain characters until you beat it. But if you do the slot machine or whatever quarter machine, if you keep putting in there and you're at the early stages of the game, you won't be able to get some characters, so you're going to be wasting money. So wait till you pretty much beat the game, or you've maxed out your money, then use up some of it and then continue on. But anyway, I really liked it. It's really, really good. I don't know if it's as good as the original ones. I haven't played the original ones in a very long time. But I'm really happy to have a physical copy of it. I've been hoping we can get a new Donkey Kong at least some point, or a remake of the original games. That would be cool. And really glad to have it. Next one is Burgerdane, The Legend of Remora. This is the limited run version. I picked up the PAL version on my PlayStation 4. Really, really happy to have it. I first bought it on the Switch, and I've been wanting to play it. It's like a turn-based tactical game, but I most likely would play it on my PS4 first. But anyway, really, really happy. I love tactical-based games. Another one is Loop Hero. This is like a dungeon crawler card game. Now, this was from Special Reserve Games. Probably shouldn't have bought this because they recently just released a new physical copy that's like a mass production version, and that's probably more updated than this physical copy. So I probably need to hurry up and find that while it's still available. Again, that's why I kind of stopped buying from Special Reserve Games. They tend to release their games a little early, and then later on we'll get a mass-produced version that's going to be a better version of that game. So in the end, really, really happy. It's a really good game. I got stuck. I was playing it and I got stuck somewhere. I couldn't figure out how to progress. But in the end, really, really happy to have it. Next up, I talked about this before, Little Nightmares Complete Edition. This just comes with the first game, but this is the only way you can get Little Nightmares, the first one, with all the content on cartridge. So it's got the expansion, The Secrets of the Mall, on cartridge. Really good game. I enjoy it. It's not necessarily a survival horror game, but it's more like a creepy, atmospheric experience that just leaves you uncomfortable. It's very, very good. I really, really enjoyed it, and I highly recommend it, especially this Complete Edition version. Now, here's a good Nintendo game. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. I really, really enjoyed this game. I 100% completed it. I had so much fun playing Captain Toad and 100% completing levels and stuff like that. Really, really good game. I highly recommend this game. The only thing I didn't really like is you have to use your controller to click on something to make something spin. I didn't really care for that. It's that motion controller garbage stuff again. And then gimmicks. I hate just gimmicks like that. But anyway, I really, really like this game. I really like to see a sequel to it because this was a lot of fun. Anytime Nintendo is creative, no one likes it. When Nintendo spews out garbage, like Breath of the Wild and many of their other generic made games, everyone just gobbles that stuff up. That's what I call it. It's Stockholm Syndrome. It's got to be Stockholm Syndrome. But anytime they do anything creative, I'm right there for it, and they do a great job when they branch out and actually be a game studio that actually makes games. Really, really good. I highly recommend Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker. Next up, we have I Am Setsuna. Excuse me. Really good game. I actually really enjoyed it. I wanted to pick up the PS4 version, but now it's out of stock, and I've seen some people selling it at ridiculous prices. I really like it. It's actually fairly good. It's a good classical JRPG. Highly recommend it. I wish I had the PS4 version. It's an interesting one. It's a bread and butter JRPG kind of style, but a lot of fun. I recommend it. Moving up, we have a disappointment in some areas, and that is Into the Breach. This is the more updated version of the game. It's got the expansion that they just recently released. My only problem with this game was that for the strategy aspect of the game, I did like some of it, but the problem was they only give you 3 units to work with, and you feel so limited on everything you can do. I really wish you should have had 4 or 5 units you can control. And so that's the only reason I couldn't get into it as much as I wanted. I just felt like I was just never a fair game, and I just felt like I was so limited. I just stopped having fun with it because I felt like it stopped feeling like a strategy game but a chess game, and I'm not saying that's bad. It's just not what I look for in a strategy game. I like a game that allows me to be able to breathe in my strategy approaches but also make it challenging and rewarding, and sometimes punishing too. And it feels like it's just right at the precipice of being an amazingly strategy game. If you just maybe had 2 more units you could control. And it's still a great game. It's from Fangamer. Highly recommend it. Great game to pick up on your shelf. Next one, we have Astro Aqua Kitten Possum Collection. This comes with 2 games on 1 cartridge. I have yet to play any of them. They look graphically amazing. And again, it's cats, so it's right up my alley. I love cats. And really, really good. I hope to pick it out. It's a limited run physical copy, so hopefully I can mess around with it at some point. Now, the other game I have yet to play is Astro Chain. I got this actually fairly cheap. It was like a Black Friday deal or something like that was going on. I have yet to play it, so I know nothing about it. I think it's like a hack and slash style game. I presume it anyway. But anyway, I'm happy to have a physical copy. I haven't played it, so I don't know anything about it. Next up, we have Collection of Mana. Fairly good. It comes with Final Fantasy Adventure, Secret of Mana, and Trails of Mana, the original Super Nintendo version. So I'm really, really happy to have this collection on my shelf. So pretty much I have all the Mana games, other than the one that came out on PlayStation 2. What was that one called? Destiny of Mana or something like that? But anyway, happy to have it. It's another classic collection of older games, which I'm always happy to have new physical copies of. Next up, we got Ruby, the Grim Eclipse Definitive Edition. Don't really know. I think it's like a hack and slash style game. It's from Limited Run. This is from the company Rooster Teeth that made Red vs. Blue. I don't know the quality of this game. Looks interesting though, so picked it up. Next up, we have Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. I'm a hit and miss when it comes to Monster Hunter games. I don't know if this was a used copy or not, but and I haven't played it. I'm just like I said. I like Monster Hunter games, but sometimes they don't invest me as much as other people when it comes to these releases. But again, I'm really happy to have it on my shelf. Next up, we have another Asia import, and that is Love Esquire. This is actually an adult erotic game that actually got released on the Switch, but of course they removed all the sex in the game. But I picked it up because it cracked me up. The intro will crack you up. I want to play it, but I don't know how the people react to that. But anyway, I have been wanting to play with it. It's just your typical JRPG, but I'm sure, again, it's an adult game, so I'm sure the JRPG aspects is not as in-depth as some people may like it, because, again, it's supposed to be about finding the right girl, and you're choosing that girl to marry or have a relationship. I don't know if you can have a harem in this game. It doesn't look like that type of game, but who knows? Usually these games have a harem route somewhere. But anyway, happy to have it. Just cracked me up that it's an adult, a porn game that got released on Switch. But anyway, we got Ruin Factory 4 Special. I played this a little bit. Didn't really like the controls of the game. Didn't really do it for me. I've been wanting to look at the other Ruin Factories. Maybe they will be more my ballpark. But in the end, I'm happy to have it. I couldn't really get into it. Front Missions First, the limited edition. I haven't yet had a chance to play it. It's a classic old game that got released on Switch, which I have the PS4 version now, so really, really happy to have that. So much little junks and stuff blocking everything up. But anyway, I haven't messed with it. It was like first only on the Switch for physical copy, and then eventually we got the PS5 version. Which again, if you want the PS4 version, it was only available as an Asian import, which does support English, by the way. I just picked it up, so I wanted to support it because it's a tactical RPG style game. Next up, we have Dream Scraper. I'm pretty sure it's a roguelike, like a hack and slash roguelike. Looks up right at my ballpark. I'm really, really interested in it. I have yet to mess with it. It's from Limited Run. It's one of those games I would definitely want to check out when I get my next the next Switch is backwards compatible. Moving up, a good disappointment. This is Dragon Quest Collection. This comes with Dragon Quest 1, Dragon Quest 2, and Dragon Quest 3 all on one cartridge. Now, why it's a good disappointment is that these are remakes of the original Dragon Quest games for newer hardware, but that's basically all they did. They just made the games graphically better. They didn't really fix some of the issues of the past. Like, if you want to talk to someone, you have to walk up to them, bring up your menu, go underneath talk, and that's how you talk to someone. You can't just go up to them and just start talking. It's just got some of those tedious mechanics that I really wish they would have cleaned up. I know some people are going to rush in there saying, well, that's altering the authentic experience. The authentic experience is still there. That's why it's okay to clean up older games. Like, I'm a retro gamer as much as the next person, but I hate the delusion that older games were somehow perfect and they didn't need some cleaning up or some corrections to make the experience smoother, faster, better in some ways. I'm all about keeping things authentic, but I do acknowledge that there are improvements that can be done. Like, not having to open up a menu just to talk to someone. You should just be able to go up to them and push the talk button. Just to talk. The action button, more correctly. But anyway, I'm happy to have it. It was only available as an Asian import, so really, really happy to have it. Moving up, these could probably be two at the same time. These are our Atelier collections. These come with 3 games on each cartridge. They're getting kind of up there in price, at least last time I looked at it. These are all the DX versions. These come with all the expansions and stuff like that on cartridge. I picked them both up just because they're Asian imports, and that was the only way you can able to get the games. I'm happy to have it. They're not really my type of games. They're like Alchemist games, so they may not be for everyone, and they're maybe not for me, but I bought them for collective purposes. So happy to have them. May never play them, actually. Moving up, I talked about this before, Origami Shadow Edition. This comes with Origami Nightfall and Assassin's Mask. I do believe this is all on cartridge. I do believe, yeah, there's no redeem code. So I did say that there's a PS4 version, but this was from, the PS4 version was, who was that? Was that THQ Nordic, or was that Microids? Whoever, I can't remember. Their physical copies are generally not that good, so this is probably a more updated, cleaned up version. It probably runs at 30 frames per second, but maybe the PS4 version runs at 30 frames per second too. But in the end, this is probably the better version if you want the best physical copy. PAL Import. This is Child of Light Ultimate Edition, which includes Valiant Hearts: The Great War. This comes with 2 games on 1 cartridge. 2 very, very good games. I particularly, myself, I liked Valiant Hearts: The Great War more than Child of Light. Now, my mom played Child of Light on her Vita, and she enjoyed it. She got stuck on the boss, and I had to help her with that, and she got through it, and she relatively enjoyed it. But me, particularly, I like Valiant Hearts. It has a very good story, heart-wrenching and stuff like that. I mean, both of them are equally good. They're still fun games, but if I had to pick one, I would pick Valiant Hearts. Again, this is back when Ubisoft actually wanted to make video games, not what they are now. But in the end, I'm really happy to have this on my shelf. Moving up, we have Carrion, which is a reverse survival horror game where you get to play as the monster. I just recently picked it up on my PlayStation 4. It's alright. It's got some good things, some bad things. I don't know what I was expecting from it, but it didn't live up to my expectations. It's still a good game. I'm really happy to have that weird and different games on my shelf. But, and really, really happy to have it. I'm glad I had the PS4 version as well. Oh boy, we get to talk about a good Legend of Zelda game now. We got the Cadence of Hyrule, Crypt of the Necrodancer, featuring Legend of Zelda. This is currently my most favorite Nintendo Switch Legend of Zelda available. I actually simply adored this game when I played it. Now, when I first played it, you had the rhythm base where you had to move at rhythm of the music, which I did play like half of the game through that, which it's cool, but boy, it wears on you really quickly. But luckily, you can turn this off and you can just move segmentally. So like when you move, enemy moves. So you can stand there and nothing happens, but when you move, enemy moves. I actually really like that. It's like a turn-based tactical movement and stuff like that. So I had to plan out my movement to do all my attacks and everything. And you get to play as Link and you get to play as Zelda and thing. And you got several other characters as well. I've actually met people who love Legend of Zelda or who love Nintendo games who do not know about this release. This is officially Legend of Zelda. You can play straight up Link and do a completely Legend of Zelda themed setup, and it's really, really good. I've been wanting to run through this game. Also, it's randomly generating, so once you restart a new campaign, the whole map is re-randomized where everything's located. Super, super cool. I mean, Breath of the Wild does not hold a candle to this game. I simply loved it, especially when I turned off the rhythm-based part of it. Once I was playing about half through the game, I was doing the segmented movement. Simply astounding. I've been wanting to play this game again. Highly, highly recommend this game. Moving up, we got Kill You? Kill You? Is that the name of this game? Seems odd. I don't really know. Ruiner. It's not on the front of the cover, so excuse me. I think this was Special Reserve Games, I think? Where did I get this? I think it's Special Reserve Games. But anyway, I don't really know much about it. I think it's like a top-down, cyberpunk kind of style game. Looks interesting. I don't know nothing about it. And the last one to the stack is Cat Girl Without Salad and Amuse Bunchy. I don't really know. I don't really have much of an opinion. It looks like a side-scrolling like top-down. This could have been a FOMO buy, because I really don't have too many Switch games, and I was like, you know what? Let's throw one of those weird Switch games that's only available on Switch. It may not be very good, but it's weird enough to be on my shelf, so I wanted to check it out. So, have it on my shelf. So, that's the end of this collection. I have one more collection video for my Switch game collection. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm sure you didn't. I'm sure you've pretty much already left already because my statement's about Breath of the Wild. And you guys having Stockholm Syndrome if you're obsessed with Nintendo stuff. But anyway, I really enjoyed this collection. Again, I still love the Switch. I greatly enjoy many of the games. It's the last time I actually had this much fun with Nintendo game collecting and stuff like that since the Super Nintendo. Nintendo has been nothing to me. And so since this, we've gotten like Cadence of Hyrule, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, and we got a few other ones that are from Nintendo that I really like. And like the tennis game, I really like that one. Again, Nintendo, I do like their games, but they're so generic, so uninspired, so lack of creativity that I just don't see what people are seeing when it comes to their games. They're good, but they have a lot to learn when it comes to fun. But anyway, we got one more collection to do, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this and stuck around for all this. Again, I have several other videos. You got my PS4 collections, but you get to hear my weird taste in games, and you'll probably highly disagree, and that's 100% fine. That's why we have so many games, and that's why it's great to be a game collector and somebody who loves video games, because there's games for everyone, and I'm a weird person who likes weird games, so that's the games I look for, and those are the games I enjoy. So like always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next part. Bye-bye!